exes, I don't miss you. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? You don't pop, don't pop. Where you stop? Where you stop? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? You don't pop, don't pop. Where you stop? Where you stop?
Sometimes, me and the follow those stop signs. Why niggas go there to sometimes? We dey migrate to the sunshine. Yeah. Where you at? Where you at? Came from the streets, did it for myself. Walk in my rep, talk to you rep. Who you rep? Why yes, who you rep? Ain't bad shit, bad man shit, DJ shit, road man shit, fly flash shit, dance my shit, old blood shit, old messy. Fuck my exes, I'll miss you. All my exes, I'll need you. I'm gonna get my chicks, so I'll need you. Do my things, I'll lead you. Like to get me there. Wanna go there, wanna go there. Then I go back.
Right to the game, I love it, kiss you. Fuck my exes, I don't miss you. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? You don't pop, don't pop. Where you stop? Where you stop? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? You don't pop, don't pop. Where you stop? Where you stop? Hey, Milky shit, what's up, guy, yo? And I don't know how to not tie you, but baby, don't try, yo. Tabak girl, boy, you go wonder, yo. This shit, she don't break up. Where's my coffee? Wake up. Your family is none of my business. Check up on my top phone without makeup. She said she just didn't realize. Say that boy now, fuck boy. Oh, Happy New Year, yama, boy, now look here. Tell me love my son, keep me a shot, 57, but I'm a piece soon. I've been a killer, see like me, I'll shy, get you free, so it's not me. Coming to this, bounce on the line, push it, this, right to the kill, my love, and kiss him. Fuck my exes, I don't miss you. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Don't pop, don't pop. Where you stop? Where you stop? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Don't pop, don't pop. Where you stop? Where you stop?
You know what they happen, you know what they saw, but every time they miss it, bullet boy and I have a left. I'm impressed. This is the key up. If anything, I'm not about my camera, you see that breast. I'm gonna
This one is young guy's song. The DJ gave me Who You Help. Yes, Who You Help. Wow, 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 wow. Let me see what the family members are saying. Oh, dear me. Beautiful. Blessing Julius. Let's hit 10K views. Julia, Chijoke, Fidelia, how are you tonight? Wow, 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 wow. It is. Let me sip some water. All right. Onya, beautiful nurse. Woo, woo, wow. So I want to say good evening, everyone. This is your nurse Angel in the house. Please, someone make some noise. And in the studio, or rather behind the studio, is your one and only doctor. Don't worry, we are going to bring him in soon. But before we start, I want to say that men also cry. Yes, I repeat, men also cry. However, the society don't allow them to shed tears, so they can only, cry in their heart. Okay, before we start, I want to find out from the family members, when you hear of a man, whenever the man is mentioned, what do you see? What image comes to mind whenever you hear the mention of a man? I want to see, or for you to type, when you hear about the man, what image do you see? What image comes to mind at the mention of a man? Chiweze said, indeed, men also cry, but that's in their heart. Thank you, Chiweze. Exactly what I'm trying to say. Patience said, men also cry. However, the society does not allow them to cry. Correct. And Ogechukwu said, good evening, all. So my question once again is, when you hear about when a man is mentioned, what image comes to mind? When you hear of a man, what does the society depict a man as? I want to hear. I want to read. Fatima, men also cry, but in their heart, and never allow you to see it. Correct. So, when you hear of a man, what image comes to mind? The head. Gift says when she hears of a man, the image that comes to mind is the head. That's fine. Magozi Gum said a hero. Okay, that's fantastic. Breadwinner for the family. This is Adobe. Adobe says she hears of the breadwinner. Men are emotional too. This is Tochuku Opala. All right. So Adora say, okay, Adora is tagging her friend to come and watch. So when you hear of the mention of a man, the head, the man is the head of the house. This is Aisha Vala. Okay, thank you, Aisha. Tochukwu say men are perceived to be strong. That is what you think about. And Adobe say breadwinner once again. Sandra say a man is an opposite gender who is strong physically to do what the opposite sex can't do. Okay, that is fine. Okay, you're tagging Okafor says the head. So when you hear of a man, Chibwezebe say men signify the head, the provider, a winner. Woo, woo, that is fantastic. Princess is tagging her friend to come and watch. Wisdom, Jesus boy, long time no see. When I hear man, the image in my mind is strongholder. Fantastic. Maybe we take a couple more. The father. It's when he hears of the man, he thinks of the father. Wow. And Patience says the head. All right, I'll read this of Fumilayo. Say, when I hear about the word man, the image I see is a strong being, the head, the warrior, the breadwinner. On that note, I would like to say that studies have shown that life expectancy of the men are shorter than that of the women. A lot of studies all over the world have shown that the life expectancy of the man is shorter than that of the women by at least 6% for many, many decades now. The reason has been tied to a combination of biological, social, and economic, and sometimes behavioral factors. These, they say, affect the life expectancy of the man. For example, behavior and biological, like Dr. Tope said, that hormone profiles in the man is different from that of the woman. For instance, the testosterone, which is the primary sex hormone, is higher in men and is associated negatively with a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. We have the testosterone in men is associated with the higher risk of cardiovascular disease. So some biological elements, for instance, in women, like pregnancy, childbirth, menstrual pain, lead women to often go to the hospital. And this is something men do not do because they don't necessarily have some biological factors like having pregnancy or going to give birth or to take them to hospital. However, they do not. They say, in fact, men generally do not go to see their doctors, generally speaking. And when they do, maybe when they are seriously ill and they go to the hospital, they don't even take heed to the advice of the doctors. For instance, if a man has COPD as a result of smoking and the doctor says don't smoke again, they'll just go and continue smoking. They generally don't heed to the advice of the doctor, and men take their health, generally speaking, men take their health for granted. And that is why the research say they tend to die younger than the women. Economic factor. It is said, research says that men are more likely to die younger than women due to their work related incidents. This is because, just like you guys say, the head, a strong man, this is because they work in the most dangerous jobs like mining, construction jobs, defense job, job like security, where they need to put themselves in front. And on that basis, men generally tend to die younger than women. Behavior. We all know that men like to take risk. One thing we know men about is risk-taking behavior, and this can lead to death. Men also engage in an unhealthy behavior, such as smoking, alcohol. Women do that, but generally speaking, many men do this more than women. And worst of all, they don't eat healthy. They don't take healthy eating seriously. So in all this, we can see that there are many factors that affect the lifespan of a man. And also, the worst of it all is that, just like a woman, that life expectancy is higher than that of the man, there are many facilities out there targeted to support, to treat, to look after the life of the woman. And good thing, they also take advantage of it, leaving out the man. Therefore, tonight, we are going to be talking about, we are going to talk about the struggles of the man. And who else? Who else? Who else is going to talk to us about the struggles of the man? If not our one and only Dr. Temitope. Hey! Listen, Dr. Temitope, as you guys asked, you asked for him. You asked for him, and he is here. Another thing you did was to say you want to see him live. You are happy with what he's saying on the phone. You like to hear his voice, but most of all, you want to see his face. And one thing your nurse angel like to do best is to listen. As I said to you, I listen with my innermost ear, just like my dad said. So you said to me, you want him live and direct. And I'm going to give him to you live. Now, Dr. Tope is a wealthy man. He's very rich. Very wealthy and rich. He's so rich that he has a lot to give. He has a lot of wealth to share around. The whole world can even benefit from his wealth of knowledge. Yes, Dr. Tebi Tope is a consultant. He's an educationist, a mental health and a psychosocial support specialist. Oh my God, he is a sociologist. And best of all, he is a gender expert. Wow, a lecturer in the Department of Sociology in FCT Abuja. He's also a lecturer in the Department of Criminology and Security Study. He is also a man. He is also a man. And best of all, he's also the father of a boy child. Therefore, I want to bring to you Dr. David Cooper. Please, can you let's see what they are saying. Let's see what the house are saying. Yes, can you say hello? Shout a big hi to Dr. David Cooper. Yes, let's see. Exactly, stressed. Let's see. Oh my God, they are commenting a lot of comments. And tonight we are going to talk about the struggles of the man. Yes. You say you are honored, sir. Treasure speaking. Yes. Wahid say awesome. Madu Buku say welcome, sir. Wow. Oluwasegun said okay, I think he's tagging somebody. So yes. Fumi Lion, Fumi, I love you. Fumi said Dr. Temitope is so rich in knowledge. He's a consultant, a gender expert, a lecturer, a father of 2 boys, 2 girls. He is a man. And who else is going to talk to us about this topic if not him? And last Rachel said, Dr. Temitope, you are welcome, sir. So, doctor, yes, I want to give you the room to say hello to the family. They are so excited to listen to you. Can you say hello to them, please?
Hello, good evening to every member of In Our Mind. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and I'm glad to see your faces and even hear your voices and read your write-ups. Once again, good evening, everyone. Dr. Nurse Angel, good evening.
All right, Dr. Temitope, I'm so happy we were able to get you live. The family say they love you, they hear you. I want to just read a comment by where did I see that comment? Patience on seeing you. She said, good to see a young, rich, handsome man. Yes. And honestly, doctor, when you came to the back studio, I was shocked. I'm like, oh my God, he's so young and handsome. And yes, Patient just read my mind. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much. Doctor, before we progress, I want to remind the family that tonight, let me see, tonight, we are going to talk about the most active participant for the month of November. Yes, every month, doctor, we always have the most active. We give out like 100,000 to the most active on the page. So for the month of November, we'll be calling out the most active participant for the month of November at the end of tonight's show. Let us do first things first. Dr. Temitope, I know you are ready and we are hungry. We want to hear. So feed us with your wealth of knowledge. I'll throw to you the first question. The first question we have for you, please feel free to call in and ask Dr. Temitope any question of your choice. He is knowledgeable enough to answer at impromptu. Yes. So, Dr. Temitope, what is the role of the man in the family and society at large? What is the role of the man?
The role of the man in the family and in the society at large. These two, the family and the society, are all agents of the socialization.
Yeah.
So the socializing agents gets us to acculture ourselves and enculture us so that we can be best fit into the society. So when we're talking about the role of the man, what you're
Reduce your
simply saying,
English. Reduce your English, please. We need you to
yes,
speak a layman's language. Oh.
excellent. Actually, for every word I use, I'll try as much as possible to explain them. When we say acculturation, acculture is to acquaint you, to familiarize you, is to teach you, is to train you, is to build you up, okay, to learn to know, so that you can be best fit into the agent, e.g., the family or the society. So it's an acculturing process. When we say enculturation now, it is an adaptation procedure where you have learned and then you try to become who you should be. Again, for the father, he has a role. The father has a role. Now, apart from what the culture ascribes as roles of the father, naturally, and apart from what religion also ascribes to the man, and then apart from what the society also ascribes to the man, now therefore the man has responsibilities. His responsibility defines his role. So number one, he has to take responsibility. All right. For instance, now by nature they are generally referred to as the head of the family. To be referred to as the head of the family, it simply means that one, you are to oversee, you are to ensure you provide leadership, you provide requisite guidance, you provide direction, you coordinate the family and the available resources to ensure that the family moves and do better. So the father has a role, he has a function. right, is to ensure that he takes responsibility such that negligence will account for any form of deviation in the family. The mother can deviate, the children can deviate. If you do not want them to deviate from the normal, it then implies you must assume your roles as required. So you should take responsibility for every activity in the family. You must give instructions, you must follow up and get feedbacks. You must feed the family. You must provide for the basic needs, essential needs. Apart from food, apart from shelter, you must also provide what we refer to as the role model. You must be a good role model. It is a misnomer if for any reason you have some attitude that is not in conformity with normality, because invariably your children will learn from them. All right, you are like a mirror before the children, you are like a mirror before your wife, and then to the society at large. I often do say it this way: the aggregation of the families in a society forms the society. So the society does not exist without the family. Better still, it is the family's attributes or family's lifestyle that is being reflected in the society. So if each of the family, the fathers neglect their roles, then the society will degenerate. The society will become a bad society. So do not confuse yourself. If you find yourself in any society and you find out that so many things that is associated with that society is bad things, it's a reflection of what takes place in the families. It means the aggregations of the family there are bad. They are not doing what they should do. So to the society at large, you also have to provide support. You have to provide support, both guidance and counseling, psychosocial support, mental support, financial support. I'm sure you know, as a father, within the family too. Yes.
Dr. Tope, you are too knowledgeable and wealthy. We know. But please, little, if not, we'll start drifting away to the cloud, drifting away to the moon, and we'll drift away to the ocean. So just give it to us little by little. We can repeat this topic again for a part 2. Because if you're bombarded, we'll be like, oh my God, we'll be overwhelmed. I know you didn't do all this in one night. You had all this knowledge in a long period of time. Biko, take it easy with us. Wow, wonderful. Dr. Temitope, I heard what you said. And it's, if I had not stopped you, it will still, you will go on and on regarding the role of the man in the society. Dr. Temitope, the more you talked about the role of the man in the society, the more I felt really, really bad and sorry for the man. Honestly, he is the head, the breadwinner, the protector, the provider, the for overall, the this, the that. Everything is expected of the man. Yet, Dr. Temitope, yet the feminist movement has led to increased advantage for women. Therefore, positions, traditional positions, like being the head of the family, being the provider for the family, being the protector, and everything, the feminist movement are now asking for equal rights and opportunity, equal representation for women. And this has led to the women owning a lot of positions, just like the man in the society, are no longer the house homemakers. Now, if the feminist movement have begun to change the traditional role of what a man should be, breadwinner, head, nay, that, if they are not taking almost the same equal representation with the man, are they still expected to be the breadwinners? is it good for the burden of breadwinnership, in quotes, to still be on that of a man? Whereas some household, you see a man is not employed, a woman is employed, and yet the traditional requirement is the man is the breadwinner. Meanwhile, he's unemployed while the woman is employed. But they say the woman's money is her money. You are the breadwinner. What do you have to say of this?
Okay, now that is a very good related social issue. It's a social issue. Yes, every day the society advances, the society is developing, and as we see the society develop, changes becomes inevitable. Like the teacher will say, and I've once asked for those who are intellectuals, the argument is there anything that is constant? We often say nothing but change. Therefore, change is constant. Is that the interpretation? If nothing is constant but change, therefore change is constant. So change is inevitable. Change will always occur. Now, regardless of the change, we can then also define what type of changes are we referring to. In our mind society, in our mind group, I want you to all understand you belong to the intellectuals. And for all of you in our mind, I want you to know you are the best you could ever be. There is much treasure that you can gain from in our mind. And I want to plead with you, it's an avenue for you to increase your knowledge, encourage your friends to please join, because the society is going to be a better place with time. The more informed we are, we will definitely remove ignorance. Let's answer the question straight away.
Yeah.
When we talk about the feminist movement, the feminist only tries to advance, all right, why women should be recognized, equally assigned responsibilities within the family and within the society, from the original suffrage right, the right to vote, then to the right to get employed. And now we're looking at even more responsibilities given to them. Let me share this idea with us. The world will be a better place the moment we realize that mutualism, symbiotic relationship that benefits the man and benefits the woman, is what we advance. The more you give women responsibilities, the better the society is. Now, let me give you an example. Like if you look at the biological engine called the human beings, it will work and work and work and work. Obviously, when it overworks, it can get sick. It can even pack up at another time. But you see, when you provide support for them, then they work longer and then they last more. So women are just the best companions you could ever have. Give them more responsibilities to create a longevity, long life for the men, healthy life for the men, and it will become an healthy rival if the man, rather than accepting the support of the woman and also continues in doing his roles, he then reneges. He then chooses to abdicate or just relapses or refuses to take his roles and responsibilities and then assign everything to the woman. Then he is a failure. He's a weak man. A strong man advances more benefits going to women because it makes him healthier. Again, that does not mean that you will not perform your role. It's just like saying you can't decapitate the head. You can't remove the head from the body and expect the body to be alive. No. What we're simply saying is that the women, they are like the heart to the man. They are like the hand to the man. They are like the leg to the man. Regardless of the responsibilities and the roles you assign to them, remember from the biological system, every part of the body is significant. The women are significant. The man is significant. The eyes perform specific roles. The ear performs specific role. Don't forget, they are interrelated. They are interdependent. Even if the man is the director or the woman is the director tomorrow, and for any reason the man is indirectly not engaged, that does not mean he doesn't have a role. Within the family, he's still the father. All right? The concept of breadwinner could then be reconceptualized or reoperationalized. Okay? The woman can provide the support, while he still provides the guidance. He provides the direction. He provides the energizing, the energy required for the family to remain stable and united. You see, I am a proponent of those who believes that women must be given the right roles. Let me explain it this way. It should be just like what Karl Marx said. Karl Marx is of the opinion that the moment we begin to class the society, we have more class struggles. But when we have a classless society, then there's likely not going to be struggles. This tells you and I that the more you realize that the women are significant and as important as the man, regardless of the roles they assume, but they still see themselves as number one, as a part of the system who must perform a function in order to keep the system alive and stable. So it is not for them to in any way subjugate, or because they are now maybe financially buoyant, then they want to, match or step on the man. No, you can provide that support, and the man is to still remain in his duty. It's just like saying, if the eye is to provide sight, the nose is for smelling, the mouth is for taste, and the ear is for hearing. At no point will the ear say, because the eye is providing the sight, then the ear should go into extinction. No. Let the woman see herself performing a role. But the system must still remain united. Respect the man, respect the woman. And I'm also the proponent that believes that the more you deny the woman the economic right, the interpretation is that you have denied her the means of living. And the more problem you are creating for yourself as a man, and then you are reducing your lifespan. But if you make her healthy, then she helps you better. Thank you very much.
Wow, wow, wow. Doctor, once again, you are amazing. Reduce, small grammar, small grammar. So, doctor, talking about the woman being a support for the man, and talking about the importance of allowing women to rise, that position does not change things, in the sense that we can redefine roles, but that does not mean the man should not take a kind of guardianship position. Now, Dr. Tope, the women all over the globe, even here in the United Kingdom, America, many Western countries, as well as in Nigeria and Africa, other African countries, there are ministries of women. Like each country, if not every country all over the world, have a ministry for women affairs. Ministry of Women Affairs, to support the women, provide for the women, shelter the women, come for the aid of the women, empowerment, anything you think of. Women have a ministry in the government created to look after the affairs of the woman. Now, why are there no ministry for men affairs? Are there any reason? Because is it that men do not need support? Why are there no ministry for men affairs? What resources are available to assist men in coping with the struggles? How can they access these resources, sir?
Thank you very much. The answer is very simple. And as much as possible, I will use simple English.
Please.
Right? Yes. Now, let me explain it this way. You see, let's look at simple narratives or historical narratives. It was obvious that from historical narratives that women had actually suffered certain disadvantage. So in an attempt to want to create a balance as a measure of mainstreaming so that more women can be empowered, more women can become more informed, well socialized, and take even responsibilities in the society, be it political or educational or the likes. That's the reason the Ministry for the Women Affairs was created. Please understand. It is like saying that we realized at a point that women had suffered certain disadvantage, and it is overwhelming. So if we must address that negative disadvantage, we must create a platform that engenders, that provides them to easily make good progress. So that is why the Ministry of the Women Affairs and Youth Development come on board. Because you find a society where we have recycling of certain old men in the place of position. Let's take, for instance, in Nigeria, the man who is the governor today, tomorrow becomes the minister. After becoming the minister, he also wants to be the president. Take, for instance, the today president of Nigeria was once a senator in 1993, and then post 1999, he became a governor. Today, he is a president. Look at his cabinet members. Most of them are former governors coming into becoming ministers. So this is the way they recycle themselves. What do you see? You see the women suffering disadvantage, the youths suffering disadvantage. Therefore, the Ministry for Women Affairs and Youth Development is then created so that we can provide much resources to bring women from rural environment, from the urban environment, integrate them into societal developmental programs. Now, having explained that, then the question will be, why should we be talking about men ministry when there is no disadvantage to the extent? For instance, I asked the question, from 1954, when we have in Nigeria the first governor general, indigenous governor general, to 1960, when we have a parliamentary system of government, the first executive president, all right, the ceremonial president, and the prime minister, both men. Successively, we seeded into the Civil War in 1966, and then the Second Republic in 1979, where we have the then head of state, Olusegun Obasanjo, and then down to the coup that was aborted again in 1983, all right, who killed the Second Republic, and then Buhari took over in 1985. This again is another man, and then the Third Republic in 1993. That's the time of MKO, the SDP, is still another man. And then we come back again to 1999. Again, the man who ruled 20 years ago came back again to become president. Successively, what do you see? Men. Then I ask, how many female presidents, for instance, have you produced in Nigeria? Now, if we go over to the African bloc, the West African bloc, the East African bloc, Central African bloc, to the South African bloc, let's ask in the whole. Of course, I was very happy when I hear of female president in South Africa, Ellen Sirleaf. And then I hear of Gloria Arroyo in Philippines, I hear of Megawati in Indonesia, and so many others, even the former German chancellor. The question is that the number of women, how many of them compared to the number of men? So why are we advancing men ministry? So there is really no need for that. All right, but that does not mean that where we then observe that there is a disadvantage, for instance, where the boy child or the man lacks certain values or certain resources or are suffering certain disadvantages, we can also create activities for them, but not to advance. And of course, I also again don't believe in feminism. I'm not a feminist, but I believe in women liberation. I believe in women emancipation, women empowerment. I believe in women taking over leadership. I also hope someday, soonest, Nigeria will celebrate the first female president, the first female governor. Thank you.
I will be the first female president of Nigeria.
I'll be your DG, your campaign DG.
Okay, Dr. Temi Tope, well
Yes.
spoken. Thank you for the history. Thank you for acknowledging the fact that it used to be a man's world. However, now women are rising, and you mentioned that there is no need. You mentioned that there is no need for there to be a ministry for men affairs. Dr. Temitope, with whether you like them or not, they are existing, and with the movement of the feminists and agitation and the quest for equality, what we have is high number of women in schools, high number of women in education, high number of women in workplaces as compared to traditional time when the women were relegated to the background. Right now, I don't, although certain countries are still struggling, like in the Asian countries, even Africans are now recognizing the need for women to go to school because they are seeing the benefits thereof. Therefore, if women movement and equality drive is pushing women to the forefront and almost gaining position, like you've said, that you're looking to see the first female president for Nigeria, and it's only very few countries that have produced, but at least for decades before, there had never been a female leader. However, little by little, we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even 6 female leaders for countries, and we are expecting more. If that is the case, if women are not coming up to meet with the to equate the men, yet in employment, pressure to get employed. You said there is no need for men, Ministry for Men Affairs to support men. Pressure to get employed are more on men than women. Yet support are there for women and put a lot of women in work. But the pressure, the societal expectation, just like you and other members of the platform said, is man should be the head, the provider. If a man is the head and the provider, it's required that he gets employed. The pressure is on him. If a woman does not get employed, nothing happens. They're like, it's okay. If a man is 30, 40 years of age, he's not working, all hell get loose on him. What support system, therefore, if you think there should not be a ministry for men affairs, what support system should there be it should be created for men, just like that of the women for economic empowerment?
Thank you very much. And the response again is this. The society should understand that it is expected that we're able to survive. And in surviving, it is not only dependent on the number of white-collar jobs that we get. Let's look at advanced nations, developed nations, industrialized nations. The richest today in the world are not those who are public servants or civil servants. They are not those who get employment in government jobs. There is that concept of vocational skills. Vocational skills is so important. So let's therefore create more vocational skills centers, both for the men and the women, but in specific for tonight, for the men. When we talk about empowerment, talk about men empowerment, men employment, the focus should be on skill development and developing other subsector of the economy. Take, for instance, in the agricultural industry, all right? We can have more men producing and then the society is doing better. So the idea is men literally have the strength. When I mean strength, the women also have the strength. But specifically for the men now, they can do more hard jobs, take a longer period in a place of work, all right, for physiological reasons, unlike the women who goes through the normal monthly menstrual cycle. So for that purposes, the employment avenue is already available. Let's not focus on government employment. In reality, if you take the population of every country, any country in the world, no government can employ up to 50% of our citizens. No government. Nigeria today, yes. So the kind of support we should provide for the men, number one, is skill acquisition. Skill acquisition. Encourage men not to be lazy. Tell them, go get a skill, go get a vocation, develop the skill. You can be a fashion designer, you can be a shoemaker, and become an employer of labor.
Of course.
All right? You can do so many other skills. All right? You can do so many other, job, and then you become not just an employee, but an employer of labor. And men are creative, women are creative. So we should encourage that. So other supports we can provide for the men, again, will be that at every given time, we give them the requisite knowledge. Knowledge is good. Knowledge empowers. Knowledge enthrones you, makes you reasonable, makes you more responsible. I keep advancing this. Any knowledge that does not improve your behavior positively, it is not knowledge. It is not education. Anything that teaches you to be violent, anything that teaches you to infringe on other people's rights. For instance, we all occupy specific space. If you have to go beyond your space into another person's space and discomfort the person and create an injury, then you are no longer a healthy human being. So for men, we must encourage them to get knowledge-based information that helps transform their behavior positively, that makes them healthy. So other supports apart from skill acquisition, apart from providing other subsystem or like agriculture, all right, like trade, even in business, they can do some of those things and become economically empowered. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Temitope. Thank you very much. You've talked about a whole lot of fact that men should be men. And this is what we are struggling with in the society because, honestly speaking, I still believe that men are also vulnerable and they struggle. That they are men biologically that does not mean that they are powerful in terms of providers because some of them are struggling as well. Again, men think that the society do not regard and is very harsh on them. Even listening to you, Dr. Temitope, today's topic is the vulnerability of the man, the struggle of the man. We want to say that in as much as men, society expect that they should be men. Man up, clean your eye, don't cry, go, get to work, be the provider, be the breadwinner, be the employer, be this, be that, be everything, protect and be a man. Yet they feel that all this is too harsh on them, that everyone is against them, even the legal system. The legal system, you say, no, it doesn't. It's human beings like you and I that man the legal system. And the men are opposing. They are crying and shouting, demonstrating and complaining that the legal system are biased against them. So they are saying that the marriage and family system are not kind to men, that the family court deals unjustly to them Therefore, if there is any issue of divorce, legally, not traditionally, legally, in issues of divorce, separation, marital issue, the woman most at times, if not in all cases, because of the fact that she's a homemaker and that the man is the breadwinner, they almost tend to get the children, the custody of the children, while the man is now asked to go and work and pay them to look after the woman. And in most cases, these women have little businesses here and there, and they are also working. But the court system tends to favor the woman by giving her custody of the children against the men and make the man to pay. I know a lot of men that leave the country because of the feel is harsh on them. You take away my children, you deny me custody of my children, and you are now asking me to pay this woman money to look after the children when she has her own job or her own boyfriend, and I'll be adding on top of her money. I won't kill myself. I won't do that. This is bias of the legal system. What do you have to say about that?
This is excellent. Please do not misrepresent my expression. When I say excellent, I mean excellent. Let's put it in the right proportion. Society sometimes introduces or enact certain laws so as to restrain the misuse of privilege and opportunities. It can be assumed that men most probably have that tendency or the propensity to always want to consider women being weak and he'll treat them. So what the society will do is to introduce a measure to protect the women. I'll put it this way. If you think there are such laws in place, why should you then, for any reason, all right, disobey that law and suffer from that? So if you live within the law, you are protected too as a man. The law by no means, the intent of the law, all right, is to protect the citizen, both the male and the female. And in protecting them is to guide against excesses or misuse of powers and privilege. That you are a man does not give you the right to misuse your privilege and opportunities. If you do, then the law will assume that you are a deviant. Therefore, there is a need for a castration. They then restrain your fundamental rights. By the criminal law, please understand, there is the concept of the menstrual and actus reus. It is assumed that if we have a stated law, now you must be able to provide beyond every reasonable doubt to the jurists or the judges that yes, there is a contravention of the law. Therefore, the guilt and then the evidence must be there. So if somebody is able to provide evidence that as a man, you have abused the law, so why should we allow you to be free? Why should we allow you to continue thriving in such error? So that is to guide against those misbehaviors. And having said that, it would then not be too right, because I put it this way, there's always a premise and there's always a conclusion. Your conclusion is always premised on, it's always built on your premise. If your premise is faulty, your conclusion will be illogical. So it will not be right to say the law was biased. The law is to protect you as a citizen, either you're a man or a woman. So there is no bias there. Now, when you said that there is the harshness of the law was actually created in such a way that, okay, if you have done 1, 2, 3, then these are the penalties attached. Are you saying that if a woman contravenes the law or abuses the law or disobeys the law, will the law not take its course? It will take its course. If a woman commits murder or manslaughter, it's the same law that is being applied to the man that will apply to the woman. No exception. He who kills by the sword should die by the sword. Will not say because you're a woman, therefore you should not die by the sword. You should die by plantain or by giving you extra rice and food. The law does not give room for that. So it is to guide against misnomer. So there is no biasness there. But in instances where we're able to agree together as members of the society in our mind, please let's understand, you are protected as a citizen, so do not break the law. But in the case where you want to assume the harshness, it is not the law. All right, therefore, in the instance you read such things, run away from breaking the law. Then the law will not catch up with you. The law will not treat you as such. But let's now look at the other side. Let's then create an assumption that the law seems to be biased. It's an assumption which I don't believe in. What should we do to provide a leverage, a way out for men? It is not to say that men should keep doing what is wrong. It is men who does what is wrong that the law is treating that way. But in the instance where you assume, so what do? We will not change the law. I will not subscribe to that. We will not change the law. But rather, what we will then say is that, okay, we will not deny you from taking custody of your children. We will not say you should stop feeding the wife and the children. What we will then assume is this. We will then create a rehabilitation avenue. If you are able to conform to societal norms, we will reintegrate you back into the society, give you back all your benefits and privilege, and then you can take back your wife if she so wants, and the children, and then your responsibility still continues. But again, you have a role to play. Provide direction, provide guidance, provide counseling, provide leadership, and also provide for the needs, basic needs, food, shelter, and the likes. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm so happy. Is a man saying all these things? I'm only bringing to you the complaints of the men, and you are giving us a kind of unbiased response as a man. Thank you. So, Dr. Temitope, drawing from the legal system bias as viewed by some men, I want to say that in terms of relationships, because of a whole lot of high cases of sexual harassment reported by women. Look, I'm not taking away the fact that a lot of women have been raped, sexually abused by men. That is not to be overlooked, is a fact. But generally speaking, what I'm looking at is reports by women of sexual harassment, which sometimes some of it are falsified. Some of it could be real. Some of it are falsified. In places of work, in the streets, in the society, a man is now scared because they say, if you talk to them and say, oh, you look beautiful, they say, that's a sexual harassment. You are harassing me sexually. If they say, oh my God, I like the fitting, you have lovely shape, look at nice curves, they say sexual harassment. So sometimes men are so scared to perform their traditional duties. According to people, they say a man should be the one to approach the woman, not the other way around. I don't believe in that anyway, but that is the traditional belief of relationship, that the man should approach the woman. And if the men, and currently with all these reports or cases of sexual harassment, both falsified and real, they are now scared to approach women. What advice do you have to give to men that are so scared, don't know how to say hello to a woman, they don't know what is acceptable and what is not? Because I too have two boys, and I know what I say to them. Hey, I know what I say to them. What advice will you give to young men in this society where everything can be termed sexual harassment?
Thank you very much. Please permit me to use 1 minute as a classroom teacher to define some basic word.
Okay.
Sexual harassment. All right? Sexual harassment. It means you are being harassed. The word harass means you are being placed at a disadvantage, or you are being spoken to or addressed or being acted against negatively based on your gender or sex. All right? Now, let me best put it this way. You see, when we talk about sexual harassment, let's be very specific based on the question, okay? So that we can manage the audience in our mind, so that we can get the right things. Yes, it is a prevailing social issue today. We cannot deny it. Where a man of 60 years, 70 years, approaching a girl, a girl child of less than 5 years and sexually molesting them. It is an absurd. It is, let's be sincere, it is on the increase. It's becoming rampant. So the idea is even the young boys on campuses are also becoming, drug-induced abnormal behaviors, harassing girls on campuses. We also see so many misnomers. We will not allow a misnomer to become normal, such that normal is becoming an abnormal issue. That's not supposed to be. So please, let's address it the way it is. Sexual harassment is increasing. So let's now look at it this way. I give it this best description. Everybody occupies a space. Everybody will occupy a space. Again, the moment you go out of your space into another person's space and you create a form of a disadvantage, or you create an injury to that person, you are harassing the person. It can be verbally, it can be non-verbal. Sometimes, even when you project a nude picture, what is your intention? What do you intend to pass across? What are you doing? You are harassing them. I'll give you an example. If you even use your position, literally for students on campus or children in the school, for the fact that you're a teacher, all right, and you call a student, obviously you will expect obedience. But that does not mean in any way a consent. It is not a consent. That the child respond to your call, it's not a consent. And you begin to touch their sensitive parts, you are harassing the students. All right, even in the office, if you do that, because based on your position, you will expect your subordinates to obey your instruction. You invite them, then they come. Suddenly you lock the office. What's your intention? All right, you are harassing the opposite, you are harassing the girl. So now let's look at it this way. That in no way does not erode our cultural values, where we have greater respect for women, greater respect for men. Then we also respect everybody's space. All right, you don't have to assault anybody or harass anybody. Take for instance the other part of it today, where we begin to see women always either falsely or wrongly or rightly accusing anybody of sexual harassment. Now, if you bring it to the face of the law has a procedures to establish the fact. Take for instance, if you lock the door against a student that you invite to see you in the office, you must define your intent. Is that not right to have accused you of sexual harassment? That you touch their sensitive part. Okay? So if you see a lady that possibly suits you well, all right, and you must approach her, why not do that with respect? There is nothing wrong in walking up to her, introducing yourself, if need be. If there is a repulsion, you mustn't insist. It's all about, a two-way traffic. You mustn't superimpose yourself on anybody. No. You must give that respect and then create the ambient, the environment that is conducive to express yourself, and do that in a manner that is normal and standard. You don't say because you're a man you can talk to her anyhow. Of course, you can interpret that as sexual harassment. All right,
So,
but the moment she sees, yes, please.
You've
Yes, ma'am.
spoken a lot. You've directed us a lot about how men should behave themselves before a woman. Let's now look at the fear by some men that are genuine in approaching a woman because of the fear of being
Please.
yeah. So, what advice do you give to these men that now are scared of approaching a woman? They see a woman, oh my God, they see a woman, they don't, oh my God, I don't want anything to do with this woman because I don't want to be accused falsely. What advice will you give to such men?
The advice is very simple. Are you going to say because if I eat food, it can choke me? If I drink water, it can choke me. So I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to drink water. So I'll keep on, just keep looking at the food, admiring the food, and I keep starving. All right? And then I become emaciated, caucasic. And then if you are not careful, you not only lose weight, you may likely run into more complex medical issues. All right, now let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. This is the advice for you. As much as you love to, you know that food is good for the health, for your health and for you. All right, relationships too are good. You need relationship in your life. Let me put it this way: women are indispensable.
Ooh,
We cannot do without women. If you permit me, women rule the world.
oh yes, of course.
Gather men somewhere and deny them the sight of a woman for 24 hours. They may likely fight themselves to a standstill. But when there is the presence of a woman there, I'm telling you, jealously they will manage that relationship and the environment. There won't be trouble.
Yeah, true.
So let's look at it this way. See, women are just God's blessing to this world.
Amen.
So if you see a woman that you so much treasure, please understand you treasured her, you desire her, all right, to make her a companion. It's on that premise you want to introduce that respect in the manner in which you approach her. There are many ways to approach a loved one, all right, either in the office or anywhere. Do that with dignity. There is dignity in life. So what do you do that? What do you do? Very simple. Number one, let there be that introduction that defines you and your personality. Everything about you is your personality. In doing that, even if you are wealthy or she is poor, or you are poor and she's rich, of course we've seen where the rich marry the poor of any direction. All you need to do is very simple. Do it with dignity. And how do you do that? Create activities. All right? Let me even help you. Pay consultancy fee. Dr. Angel will consult me and I will help you create a scheme or activities. So what we do, create activities around the woman or around the lady that helps her to get the right image of you. She will appreciate and treasure your approach. And thereafter, define your purpose with dignity. That's what we call the courage of an individual. Your courage matters. The way you carry yourself, the way you project or present yourself. All right? So when you don't go there and tell them, do you know I'm a doctor? Do you know I'm an engineer? I'm an architect? Do you know my father is the rich man in the world? Do you know I can buy you the best car? Is that what she needs? She needs the love. Tell her, hey, do you know you are able to make me smile today? You say, wow, that's interesting. Do you know I have so many information I intend to break across and share with you today?
Define your purpose with dignity. Thank you very much,
Excellent.
Doctor. Thank you very much. And we are hearing you. And, Doctor, whilst we are
Yeah.
still on relationships and
Okay.
defining your intention when you see a beautiful woman, I want to go into the religion. Dr. Temitope, I remember you last time you talked about, we were saying, why do men like to sleep with multiple women? What's wrong with men? Why can't they be with one woman and one woman only? What is it? Is it nature or nurture? And you started talking about the biology. You talked about, I think you talked about testosterone. And Dr. Temitope, if you were trying to tie the urge for sex to testosterone, which is in men, as in the men sex hormone, Dr. Temitope, the Reverend Fathers are also men. And if the Reverend Fathers are also men, why is it that they are expected to be married to God, in the sense that they are expected to have a life of celibacy? Celibacy in the sense that they should not have anything to do with sex. They shouldn't have any wife relationship or sexual intercourse. Yet, they have in them testosterone, which makes them desire sex. Dr. Temitope, as a man, is it possible for a normal man, Reverend Father, to be truly celibate?
In our mind, this is what we call the school for the intelligentsia. They are the best. I'm telling you. Nurse Angel, she's just the woman for the season. We are celebrating you. Okay. You see, these are contemporary issues, but this is the way I'm going to answer it. Religion over time has created more problems than solving them. So religious topics, religious sentiments, religious issues, for me, I believe should be restricted to religious environment. The moment you bring it to the secular world, if you bring it to the academic environment, you bring it to us within the society, our understanding is not in tandem, is not in consonance, is not in agreement with the way they reason. So for me, I celebrate the religious understanding. I celebrate their religious tenets and cultures, their religious concepts. But again, for me, I'll be very honest in answering this question. I will answer it as a moral man, as a moral agent.
Oh, yeah?
It is virtually not the real intention of God. God said, go and multiply, go and procreate.
Sorry, sir.
That's what God,
Sorry, sir. I want
yes.
to, no wonder you are saying leave religion. I'm worried. Sorry, sir.
Okay.
I'm not asking whether that is right or wrong. We'll keep it
Okay.
until when we talk about religion. That will be another
Okay.
topic we are going to talk about. My question to you is this. Is it possible? Is it possible, whether good or bad, is not what we are
Okay.
talking about. Is
I
it
will answer it again. Yeah, I will answer it in two directions. If Jesus lived for 33 and a half years without a wife, it's possible. If Paul the Apostle lived and never married, it's possible. But again, it is religiously inclined. But for those of us who are within the secular society, if we then say it's not possible, you see, our sense of reasoning is not the same thing. If I take you back to philosophy in this class, it's going to be complex because I will introduce logic. So to us, for me, let me say it again, the life of celibacy, let's leave it for them in the religion to keep discussing. But for us in the secular world, within the society, let's not make a contention out of it for them. For those of us who are not celibate, let's keep enjoying our lives. But the other question is it possible for a man to live with one wife? The answer is yes, it's also possible. Now, is it also not normal for a man to be promiscuous? It is not normal. It is not normal. Okay, is it not just for a man to have multiple wives, multiple partners? It is not just. It is not just. Let me now help us better. Now, you see, for every ejaculation, look at the multiple of cells that you release. They are in millions. The interpretation is that it also defines the quantum of energy you dissipate. Are you going to justify the fact that if you have to have a multiple sex in a day, you are reducing your health capacity, you are reducing your strength, you're also reducing your life? Now, let me explain something.
Okay.
This is what I mean. You see, some men are using that as a leverage for misbehavior. Again, let me explain. Yes, you see, let me take us a little into physiology. Now, there are some cells of the body that cannot regenerate. The brain cells does not regenerate. The liver cells, the Kupffer cells do not regenerate after a certain level. But the blood cells undergoes what you call myelopoiesis or erythropoiesis. It reproduces on daily basis. If you come to look at the sperm cells, if you look at spermatogenesis, the sperm cells also reproduces. Okay? So yes, you see, indirectly, it also makes you healthy. But that does not mean you do it consistently and you think you'll be healthy. How many men sleep with 2 men, 3 women in a day and looks healthy? So, you see, it takes interval to also recuperate. You have to eat good food. You have to be healthy.
You have
You have
to
to
eat
eat good food.
food.
Yes, you know, because don't go and fizzle out and think you're enjoying life.
Flying and eating multiple women without energy and good food. Okay, Dr. Temitope, look,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
are running out of time. I have a lot of questions, but we'll be really, really quick. I think we'll be having a part 2 of this talk show because it's really important to learn more about men. And we'll be ending soon, and we'll also invite Madam Hope. Um, um, okay, Dr. Temitope, the
Yes,
life
ma'am.
expectancy for men is lower than that of women, sorry. Yeah. The life expectancy for men is lower than that of women. Why do men die young?
Men take unnecessary risk. There's what we call a calculated risk. There's what we call an uncalculated risk. You see, men take so many deadly risks that are not healthy. Take, for instance, when a man, let me explain again, all right? When a man thinks and tries to justify that, oh, you are sexually active, and then he becomes promiscuous, and then he jumps from one woman to the other, he forgets that there's what you call portal of entry. Diseases enters the body through the eye, through the nose, through the mouth, through the ear, through the skin, including through the penis, including through the vagina. So you see, there are certain organisms that are pathogenic. All right, and you contact a sexual infection or disease, and you're going to say, "Oh, why are you not living longer?" And a man who, again, will say, oh, I'm naturally strong, and is carrying weight beyond his strength. He does too many things that he knows. Even when he needs rest, he will not rest. So let's say it this way: men take too many uncalculated risks. Men, at other times, are predisposed to self-induced danger, self-induced harm. It's just like an autoimmune system.
Yeah.
You also have auto-destructive system. That's why we do what we call histocompatibility. Even when you are going to do a grafting, you want to find out, is the tissue compatible? So for a man, in the choice of the job you do, know your medical history. Know where your strength lies. So it is in areas where you refuse to analyze and tell yourself the truth, you predispose yourself to more harm. The women always think deep. They think about too many good things. They want to enjoy life. But men, women want to enjoy a longer life, longer enjoyment. But men, he wants to finish all the enjoyment in a day. Wants to be rich in one day. Okay, let's get it possible.
Yes.
They take too many uncalculated risks. Yes.
Thank you very much. We have Madam Hope on the line. I saw a number of her comments. She's been praising you on the line today. So we will be closing soon, but do not go away. We will be announcing the most active participant for the month of November. So don't go anywhere. And doctor, be ready.
Yes.
Give your son, daughter, or wife the phone. You are going to dance with me tonight. Yes. Yes. So, Madam Hope.
I think you as the best dancer. I hope. I know you will win.
I don't care, just dance. Madam Hope, thank you very much. Madam Hope is our own, and you are currently a family member as well.
Hello.
Yes, Madam Hope, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Fantastic. Madam Hope, Dr. Temitope.
Yes.
Dr. Temitope has been talking about the woman and the man. He's been talking about...
And I'll be listening.
Yes, I saw your comments. That's why I called you. So we want to close tonight because we don't want to stay too long. We've already stayed long, but it's really interesting. I wanted to hear your peace of mind regarding the health of the man. I know he's talked about it, but I want you to tell us, how does the pressure, because we've been talking about this and we keep mentioning the fact that men die young, high rate of suicide by men, 4 times even more than women. They have risky jobs. They have, like you said, they're in drugs. More men are taking drugs, taking alcohol, smoking, doing a lot of things that can affect their life. And yet, Dr. Hope, yet more women tend to visit hospital than men. So how does this pressure to conform to traditional notion of masculinity affect men's mental health and well-being? My question is, what can be done to encourage men to seek help for their mental health, to go to hospital, not to wait till they are almost dead? Then they will go to hospital and they will say to them, this is beyond treatment. What kind of encouragement do you think, as someone in the field, can we give to men in order for them to seek help for their health and well-being?
Okay. Everything still goes back to the nurture of a male child.
Thank you.
The grooming, the training. You started this program talking about men also cry.
Yes.
And I heard some people say they cry in their heart.
Yes.
And that is where the problem is. Look at, if somebody has a wound and the blood flows out, it's easier to know where the problem is and handle it.
Yeah.
But when somebody is bleeding inside, you wouldn't know. And the next thing, the person will die. So if God created human being and gave us the gift that we can express our emotions, that we can cry out and our eyes should shed tears, why do we want to bottle it inside? So we have to start with discouraging this issue of saying man it up. Don't show cowardice. Don't show weakness. Don't cry. That is the beginning of it. Oh. That is the beginning of it. So if you groom a boy child from the very beginning to know that he can express his emotions, if he's in pain, allow him to cry out. That will not make him a weakling. That will not take away who he is. So that is where the whole thing will start. So if now and again, as a family, you as a father, because we kept saying it, that children learn, imitate, people imitate. Some of these things, I don't know where that noise is coming from.
Go on, Dr. Hope, go on.
There is a noise interrupting me, so I don't know if you can hear me. That's why I kept quiet.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So
sorry, I think. Hold on. Yeah, go on, Dr. Hope. I don't know if you still.
We kept saying that.
Yeah, we are listening.
I don't know why this interruption now. No, that I'm talking. It wasn't like this before.
Go on, Dr. Hope. We can hear you.
Okay, so what I'm saying is this: if I kept saying that children learn by imitation. Sick, you go to hospital. Your son is watching. When the boy is sick, you make sure the boy is taken to hospital. And they, as they are growing, even if when they're in school, and they call you and say, "Daddy, I'm not feeling fine." The first thing you tell him, "Have you gone to the hospital?" There is a lot of things that gradually practice makes perfect. If they find out that they have developed the culture and habit of visiting hospital, I think naturally that one will take care of one, using the hospital. One. Secondly, if a man did not smoke or did not drink, the pair make him feel that he's not a man. That he's not a man. So one, and he has not had sex with a girl, they make him feel that he's not a man. So when we talk about societal pressure, this societal pressure is not coming from the women, no. It's men themselves that is creating that pressure for themselves. So there is this peer pressure of making you, threatening somebody that he's not a man for not doing things, for not smoking, for not drinking. And all these things are affecting their health, and we have seen the consequences. They will always advertise smokers are liable to die young, yet people will still be buying it. They know that the producers of tobacco have told you that smokers are liable to die young. And they are producing it, and people are buying it. People will have reasons to justify why they have to smoke. If you, as a father, smoke, and when you drop the whatever, your son will want to go and pick it and practice. If you're always drinking alcohol, they will also want to test. They learn it. So let us begin to, if now that we have seen the consequences. And even when they visit the hospital, as you said, they will be told, stop smoking, stop drinking, your health is being affected. They will not hearken to that, and they keep on going because of they had formed that habit, and you may not know why they are not diseasing from stopping it, because there has been this if they don't smoke, or they will always ask you, have you seen a man who does not womanize, who does who will not who is not smoking, who is not drinking, that person is not a man? Is it drinking, smoking? Yeah, let me ask, is drinking, smoking, and womanizing what makes a man?
No.
Look at our own doctor. Look at our own doctor today. We kept celebrating his wealth and riches. And this wealth and riches is not, we're not talking of material wealth and physical, financial. We are talking of the wealth and richness of his knowledge, the value, what you have to offer to the society. That is what we begin to emphasize on. What makes you a man is what you have, the value you have, that you have to offer to the people, what you have to offer is what makes you a man. The values you have is what makes you a man, not the how many women you slept with, not how many bottles of alcohol you took, not how many whatever you smoke and all these drugs. Let us begin to de-emphasize it among our children. If we are the parents practicing it in our mind family, let us now know that our life is already being shortened. So let us start with ourselves. Let us, even if your friends are cajoling you, you have to know that those things is not what make you a man. Is what you have, the values you have is what make you a man. You start diseasing. I don't know how to speak Oyibo. Make una bear with me. So if I know speak am well, make una understand what I talk. Stop separating yourself from all these things. That will help us to extend our life. If looking at the research had already talked about the lifespan of men, and now we talked about economic pressure as part of what adds to it. Then I must tell you also that sometimes even men we are the one creating the problem for ourselves. I'm working in the office, and you are a man. Both of us are working in the same office. We're the same level, and we are paid the same salary. And maybe during lunch we went to canteen. We may just as colleagues to go and eat. And when we finish eating, instead of me paying for my food, you want to feel that you are a man, and you want to pay for both of us. You use maybe that money you have with you is where your transport for the next 1 week is what will take care of you will now pay it to show off that you are a man, and that you cannot go to a restaurant with a woman without paying for her, and you are feeling cool, and the pressure of financial pressure is on you now. When you spend that money, you go and start looking for who to beg or borrow. You are in the university, you have little pocket money, you go to school canteen, there is a girl that you want to this thing, anything or don't do anything to prove that you are a man to anybody. The more you try to prove yourself to people, that's the more you get frustrated. So add value to yourself. There are things that were discussed here, but I'm limiting myself based on the question that was asked. So I want to end it here. Please, 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 let us begin to change the narrative. I always say, starting from the way we are grooming our boy children, we that is already adults, let us, those things that we have learned that we are doing, let us begin to change. Come out of it. It's not taking us anywhere. If we want to control our sexual desire, we can do that. It's a matter of self-control. If you decide anything, your brain will control your body. It's only when you decide to allow yourself to live as if you are not a human being. Even animals self, they have a way of also controlling themselves. It's not all the time that they must have sex. So if the male is pursuing the female animal and the female animal is not ready for sex, that one will run away. We have seen it. Will run ahead. So you must not rape a woman because your testosterone, or whatever you call it, your hormone wants you to have sex. You can decide not to have sex. It's you. And I kept telling us, this society promotes sexuality in everything. The more you expose yourself to watching all this pornography, the more you activate desire to have sex. But when you channel your mind to things that are productive, doing things that is right, it will reduce. Sometimes you won't even remember there is something like sex. When you reduce the how much you expose yourself to sexual things, you may begin to think less about sex. Sex is like food. When you are hungry, if there is food, you can eat, but you can decide that you are not ready to eat this food and hold until when you are ready. So it's like that. If you have a woman and you have a wife, you can hold, even if you feel like yourself until you get home, or when it's the right time, you do the thing. So you won't see any woman because she's wearing, people are saying they are wearing nude clothes. And because I'm wearing nude clothes, walking on the road, you come and touch my laps or hit my buttocks or touch my breast. The law will hold you for doing that. It's sexual harassment. You want to approach me as a woman and you come, so all these things, and you come and drag me. I want to enter bus. You come and drag me and hit my buttocks, and I say you are harassing me, and you are complaining, blaming the society. But it's true, you are harassing me. If you want to approach me with respect. I think I have to stop here. So sometimes I get confused, doubting if.
Okay. I think there is network issue. Madam Hope. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there is a network issue. Right now, oh dear me. Probably we need to end this and go to Facebook and finish up. Let me see. Okay, the view. I think we may need to. Can you guys see us? Can you not see? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think I have to go to Facebook to see what's happening, because it seems the system is blocked. Let's see what's happening in Facebook. Just give me a minute, Madam Hope. Yeah. Oh dear me. It's okay. It's still talking. Okay. All right. So something is happening to the laptop. Let me see if they can hear me.
In our mind admin, WhatsApp audio.
All right. Okay, can they hear me? All right, so we will be closing soon. I don't know what's happening to the system. I can't see Dr. Temitope, but I think we close right now. But before it has stopped again, but we can hear you. Good, 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 good. All right, I will quickly. I think we will definitely come again and maybe stay shorter. The longer we stay, the more we have our technical issue showcasing its face. Right now, we want to go into the most active participant, or what we could do, I can end this right now. I think we can hear you. You say you can hear me, but I can't see myself. I can't see you guys. I can't see Dr. Temitope. I don't know what and how to connect with you. So probably we will have to end this session right now, and I'll have another broadcast, maybe just shortly, in our Facebook page to announce the most active participant on our page. So therefore, I will be turning off. I will be ending this particular session right now. We will have part two of the struggles of the man. But I'll be coming to Facebook Live to announce the most active participants on the page. All right. So go. Yes.